Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Piyush and this is day 3 in 28 days of Terraform with Azure. In this video, we'll be trying to create an Azure Storage account and Azure Resource Group with the help of Terraform. So it's gonna be a pretty simple demo, like how you would do from a beginner's perspective, how would you provision your simplest infrastructure in Azure using Terraform, and I'll walk you through all the steps. So like always, we'll be going with one step at a time, and then we'll further enhance this in the next topic. So the comments and like target of this video is gonna be 200 likes and 100 comments in the next 24 hours. I'm sure you can do that. And without wasting any time, let me show you the GitHub repository and let's start with the demo. Okay, so I am in my GitHub repository. Link is already there in the description section of this video. So as we can see that day 3 will be doing an authentication and authorization to Azure resources. We'll be doing AZ login. We'll be creating a service principal that will be helpful in creating provisioning the Azure resources. Then we'll create the Terraform configuration to create resource group, storage account, and we'll understand dependencies in this particular video. Okay, so let me show you my, and I will also open the Terraform documentation over here as well. So let me just walk you through like how you would traverse through the documentation. So just search Terraform Azure create a storage account or whatever resource you want to provision. So let's go to this over here. So you see, like we have seen Terraform providers earlier in the previous video. So you see there are providers and there are HashiCorp provider. There is this sign over here in like after Azure RM which says it is official. That means Azure RM provider, even though it's an Azure provider, but it is official provider by HashiCorp and maintained by HashiCorp community. Maybe in joint collaboration with Microsoft, but it is owned by HashiCorp, right? So that's the sign for an official Terraform provider. Okay, and then so provider, then HashiCorp, then Azure RM, name of the provider, and the version. So you can use the latest version or you can choose the previous versions from the list. Okay, so let's go ahead with that, and that's just an example usage that you can start with. Okay, so I'm just gonna pick this for now and we'll look more into that. So all the other fields that you see, you know, so there are, let's say, Azure resources. So you have name, resource group name, location. You can add more fields to it. You can modify as per your requirement. Details will be provided over here. So we'll see one step at a time. But for now, let's just copy this. Okay, I'm gonna copy this and I will paste that in my Visual Studio Code. So I'm gonna create a new file and I'm gonna name it main.tf. Okay, so Terraform recognize all the file that ends with .tf extension. So that's what I'm gonna use. Okay, now let's see the format of this Terraform. Okay, so let me just change my terminal and then we are day 03. So over here, you see there is a resource because Azure Storage Account needs an Azure Resource Group to contain that resource. Like you might be already aware about the Azure fundamentals. Like this is one of the prerequisites of of this series. Okay, so it starts with resource as the keyword. Then Azure RM Resource Group. That means the type of the resource. This is the type of the resource that is there in the Terraform provider for Azure RM. Okay, and then there is example. Example is just a temporary name given to this particular resource. So it's not the name of the resource group, but this is how we will access this resource internally within Terraform. So for example, like over here, we are accessing the resource group name. Now we want Azure resource group name to be acquired from the Azure resource group. So what we'll do, Azure resource group, Azure RM resource group, which is the resource type dot example is the temporary name or the reference name, and dot name, the actual name of the resource group from here. Okay, so let me just delete this and show you one more thing. Okay, I'll show you that. So this is how it starts. Then it is enclosed within the curly parentheses and all the fields. So it has name, location, and it is key value pair. That means it has a key name and it has a key location. It has the value string type enclosed within double quotes. Okay, and separated by line. So if we go back to the Terraform documentation, you see Azure Resource Group has name and location. Azure resource for Azure RM storage account, it has different fields. Now, we have to provide a unique name to the storage account. So let's give it Tech Tutorials 101. Okay, let's just call it that because this storage account name has to be unique across everything that is available out there. Okay, so make sure this is unique and then the resource group name. Now I want my resource group name to be acquired from the resource that we have created. So for that, we'll start with Azure Resource Group dot example. Okay, or just start Azure RM Resource Group dot. When you type dot, it will show you the suggestion, which is example. So I can just hit tab to autocomplete it. Now, this is possible because I'm using a HashiCorp provided extension for Terraform. So make sure you install that in your VS Code. This is one of the prerequisite. Now, what I need the resource group name. So this particular resource group, which is referenced by the name example, if I type dot after it, it has these many fields. Okay. So ID, which is a unique ID generated when the resource group is generated, location, which is what we have specified, and then managed by, and then name. So there are fields that we have provided as an input. There are fields such as ID and managed by that will be generated once the resource is provisioned. So we can use either of those. But over here, I need name. So if I type n and then hit tab, it will autocomplete. The same way, location. So Azure RM resource group dot example and then dot location. So this is also called implicit dependency because the way Terraform provision resources, it's not as per the sequence of what we have specified over here. Okay, so it could randomly create the resources within the same file. So to avoid that from happening, we create implicit dependency. That means we are telling over here use the location from this particular resource. That means this resource has to be created before the storage account. So that's how we are creating dependencies between resources. There is explicit dependency as well. In explicit dependency, what we can do is we can add depends on attribute. So if we do, let's depends on, okay, just type this and then we can say that, okay, this resource is dependent on this particular resource, Azure RM resource group dot example. Okay, but we'll be looking that later maybe. But for now, just understand implicit dependency. This is a more recommended approach. All right. So now that we have created Azure Resource Group, we have created the resources, but that's not everything that we need to create a resource in Azure or any resource using Terraform, right? We need provider as well. We have seen the provider already. So let me take some the sample from here, or I can create it. That's all right too. So I'll go at the top. So everything is enclosed within the Terraform block. So Terraform and then again the curly braces and then we have to provide the required providers. So required providers block and inside that what we are using Azure RM. So Azure RM, there'll be more providers. We'll be looking that later on. For now, Azure RM is equal to, again, it has to be inside parentheses. Now our source should be HashiCorp because this is an official provider by HashiCorp slash Azure RM, the name of the provider, and then version. Okay, so the latest version that we see is 4.8.0. So let's use the latest version because we have just started using it, but at the same time, we want to lock the version as well. So that's what I'm going to use. And with that, let's use the tilde sign so that even if there is a new provider version available, only the rightmost version string should be updated. Okay, so this we have discussed already. And let's add a space over here. Okay, so now this is done. Now we have to provide the Terraform version as well. So I'll say required version is equal to, or let's say it's greater than equal to 1.9.0. 1.9 dot something is available, so let's use this one, and let's configure the provider after this. So for that, just enter provider, and provider is Azure RM, and let's not enter any feature for now. So just write features. It will still need the feature block, so I'll just keep it like this, features. Okay, so we have added a Terraform required provider. So now we have Terraform inside that required provider. Provider is Azure RM. We have required version, and we have the provider Azure RM without any features over here. And then we have resources. Now, when we do that, what will happen? It should create the resources, but we have to first authenticate ourselves to Azure as well. So for that, I'm gonna use Azure login. So right, AZ login. Okay, so if I go to my terminal window and do AZ login, it should open a prompt in the web browser. Okay, and it says login successful. So let me go back, and it shows the detail over here. Now I have logged in. Now I don't want the resources to be provisioned from my personal ID. Right, I want it to be created through a service principal, which is the industry recommended method. Service principal, or there are other method as well, but we'll be using a service principal. So we'll create a service principal, assign it to the contributor role, and then we'll provision the resources using that. So for that, I'm just going to paste the command over here. Okay, these commands will be available in the GitHub repository, don't worry about it. So AZADSP, so service principal, create for RBAC. Then the name of the service principal, role is contributor, and then scope is the subscription. I'm creating it for my subscription. I think I might already have this created, so let's just change the name to something else. So AZ demo, let's just give this AZ demo as the name. Okay, AZ demo. I'm missing a code over here. Like this. Okay, so now it will create a service principal for me, and it will generate some variables. So keep these variables safely, because we'll be using these variables to authenticate our account. So let me copy it here for now. So let's just call it var.sh. Okay, go back. And now, as per the process, we have to set the environment variable so that it should use it. So for that, let me just copy the command over here. So we need to export the variables like this. Let's take the app ID from here. I'm gonna paste it. Client secret. Secret is the password. Yes, I'll be deleting the service principal after the demo, so these won't be available. Okay, and then we have subscription ID, tenant ID. Let me take tenant ID from here. And we have the subscription ID. Subscription ID is what I used in my command. I think I'm gonna have to delete my subscription as well after this, because I am exposing it. So let's paste the subscription ID over here. Okay, so now I just have to run these commands so that the Terraform commands will know, like, these are the environment variable that I have to use for the authentication. Okay, let me clear the screen and run these commands. Okay, should be good. Now what else? We have to now start running the Terraform commands. So let me show you one by one how it works. So before that, let's set an alias so that we don't have to type Terraform again and again. So alias tf equal to Terraform. Okay, so now I'm gonna run Terraform plan, and there is a reason why I'm running the plan directly, because I want to show you what are the prerequisites for this. So if I run Terraform plan, it says no configuration file, because it looks for the .tf file and I might not be in the correct directory. So if I do pwd day03, I'm in the correct directory. Still it's not able to find. Did I not save the file? Okay, let's run it again. Okay, it still says no configuration file. Let's do an ls over here. Oh yeah, I'm not in the correct folder. So tf, I guess it was part of lessons and then day03. Okay, now I'm in the correct folder, and now run the plan again. Okay, now it says inconsistency dependency log. It doesn't find a log file. Also, it says to make initial dependency selection that will initialize the log file, you have to run Terraform init. So init is the first step that we do, which will generate state file. State file will look sometime later after this. I don't want to get into that complexity for now. I'll cover that shortly. But for now, just understand you have to run the Terraform init to initialize the infrastructure. Okay, so once I do that, what it will do, it will, let's say it created some file over here, right? So in the day3 folder, it created Terraform log file. Okay, this log file will make sure that there are no concurrent process accessing the resources at the same time. Okay, that's one thing. Other is it creates a .terraform folder, and inside that it will have a txt file, but the main one that we are looking is Terraform provider, because I am on Mac. Okay, so it has downloaded provider version 4.8.0 as per my operating system. If you are Windows, you will see this file .exe file, and now this is a binary file. If you are on Linux, you will see something else. So this is the Terraform provider plugin. Okay, that helps you translate Terraform code in the code that cloud understands. It helps you translate that REST API calls. Okay, so this is this is what Terraform commands will be using the plugin to make calls on our behalf. Now Terraform initialization is completed. Now we'll run Terraform plan. Now Terraform plan, what it will do, it will do some validations as well before that. Okay, and if you don't want to run Terraform plan directly, you can run Terraform validate to validate your configuration if it is syntactically correct. There are some checks that it do. Okay, so now it says name Terraform can only consist lowercase letters and numbers and must be between 3 to 4 characters long. So this is the validation error that doesn't comes from Terraform. This is the validation error of for a Azure storage account. This is how an Azure storage account should be created. So it's coming from the REST API call. Okay, so now let's change this because it doesn't support hyphen. Now let's go ahead and change this. Okay, and let's run this again over here. Okay, now it says configuration is valid. Now if I run Terraform plan, okay, it should show you the changes that it will make to the infrastructure once you run the Terraform apply command. So over here you see plan 2 to add, that means 2 resources to be created, 0 to change, no resources are being modified, and 0 to destroy, no resources are being deleted. Okay, now if you go back, these are the fields that it will have. There are some fields that it will show. For example, let's say value of these fields, which are default. That's why it is showing tag environment we have provided inside the configuration. So this is showing like once this resource is created, these will be the value of the fields. And there are some fields which are known after apply, because these are some values are randomly generated, some values are generated based on some calculations. So these values will be known after apply. Okay, now if you want to just do a quick check which all resources will be created in the same command, you can add grep will be created. Okay, like this, and it will result the output, it says Azure RM resource group will be created, Azure RM storage account will be created. Okay, so let's do that. Let's run tf apply. Okay, and it says, do you want to perform these actions? These two resources will be created. So it is prompting you, say yes. If you want to override that prompt, you can use a parameter called hyphen hyphen auto approve. We'll look that afterwards, but before that I wanted to show you how it should be done. Okay, so after a few minutes, the apply is completed, and you can see two resources are added. Now if I can go back to my Azure portal over here. Okay, let's go to portal.azure.com and let's go to resource groups. So TF Azure course, I guess, no, example resources. This one was created. What was the resource group name that we gave? Let's see over here. Oh, did I use example resources? Like that's really a bad name, but okay. So you get the idea. Okay, so this is example resources created in West Europe. Click over there. Okay, and inside that you will see a storage account, tech tutorial 101. Okay, and it has some basic default fields, some fields that we have entered over here. Let's say we have used standard account tier with account replication type as GRS. So standard GRS, this is what it was created with. And yeah, so this is how it should be created. Now if I have to make some change, let's say, does it shows tag over here somewhere? I believe over here. Okay, so you see the tag currently is environment staging. Let's say I have to make some changes. Either I have to change the account tier to standard to something, or we have to account replication type, let's say locally redundant storage instead of geo redundant. Okay, so LRS. So there are some operations that are destructive in nature. That means it has to recreate the resource to apply those changes. And there are some operations that are non-destructive, such as if I just update the tag updation should not require the update, restart, or recreation. But if I do the replication, it should recreate the resources, I believe. So for that, I have made the change. Now if I run Terraform plan again, hmm, it will first refresh the state, and now it says 0 to add, 1 to change, and 0 to destroy. 0 to destroy means it will not recreate the resource. Okay, so there are, like, this is one of the non-destructive operations. So if you see, account replication type is now getting changed from GRS to LRS, and it says will be update in place. So it will show you the neat plan in the JSON format, and you can, modify it, format is as per your need. It will show you like what all the changes will be made. So if I run Terraform apply and hyphen hyphen auto approve, it will skip the prompt. Okay, now it will make the changes to the infrastructure. It will change the type from GRS to LRS. So let's see. Is modifying the resource. Okay, so apply completed. It says it modified. And if I now go back and let's, currently it's environment staging. If I refresh this page, okay. Oh, sorry, this change I did not make. So I have to go to overview section, and it is now locally redundant storage instead of GRS. So that's how you make the updates. Now to delete the resources, because you have to clean up the resources afterwards, right? Once you are done with your work. So for that, what you can do is there are multiple ways. There are ways in which, if you can just, let's say, if I, okay, let's take the backup of this file main.tf. So I'm gonna move this file to something else, just main.txt, because Terraform only supports .tf extension. So anything other than that, it won't identify. So if I do that and if I run tf plan now, let's see what happens. it says no configuration file because there are no other configuration file. So in that, let's move it back, main.txt to main.tf, and let's make some change to it. I'm gonna make a copy of it, tf underscore backup. Okay, so now in this file, if I, let's say, delete this resource, Azure RM resource group, so I only have Azure resource group. So now what it will check, it will check the desired state with the actual state. Okay, this configuration file that we are providing to Terraform, this is the desired state that we want. So because in our file we only have the Azure resource group, okay, so it will check that with the actual state. In the actual state, we have resource group plus storage account, right? But the desired state is just resource group. So it will detect that and it will say, hey, I don't need the storage account because it's not in the .tf file. So delete that. So if I run tf plan, okay, so it says 0 to add, 0 to change, 1 to destroy. So if you scroll a little up, says Azure RM storage account will be destroyed. So you get the idea, right? Whatever you have in your TF, this is the desired state, and this is what Terraform will apply. But this is not the right approach to delete any resources because you will lose your configuration and like so many other things. You will create a lot of problem for yourself. So the recommended approach to use the command called tf destroy. So for now, let me just revert the file back, main.tf underscore backup to main.tf. Now, if I run the TF plan again, it should not show any changes because now our desired state matches with the actual state with all the same things, right? It says your infrastructure matches the configuration. That's good. So now if I have to do the cleanup, I'm gonna use tf destroy hyphen hyphen auto approve. Or if you want to check the resources, before that you can remove this parameter auto approve. Okay, destroy. Okay, so for that, uh, with that your resources will be deleted, your cleanup will be performed, and you will save the cost over there. Okay, says to destroy, and it is destroying, so it will destroy it shortly. Okay, so you see it destroyed it, resources to destroyed, and let's go back and let's go to it, refresh, not found because it doesn't exist. Home resource group, the resource group is gone now. That's it that I wanted to cover in this video. In the next video, we'll be looking into state file, the importance of it, how to secure it, why do we use it, and many other things about it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a wonderful experience learning so far. If yes, try to complete the comments and like target. Try to share it with your friends and colleagues, whoever can take advantage from this learning. And I will see you soon with the next video. Thank you so much. Have a good day.